my scrappy friends. I wanted to share with you guys my project life for this year. Some of you may know and some of you may not know that this year I've been trying Project Life back out. A few years ago, or a little bit less than a few years ago, so maybe a couple of years ago, I started Project Life for a few months, and I think I kept with it for a little while. I have quite a few pages of Project Life, and then I just kind of got really tired of it, and I think it was the way I was doing it. So I got really tired of it, and it became a lot of work, and it became really stressful to me. And so I just decided, I was like, you know what? It's not worth the stress. I'm just going to stop, and I'm not going to do it. I won't worry about it. And then so probably some point last year, I was rethinking about Project Life and how much I actually really liked to go through my album and see it in there and see the stuff, because you're posting you're posting something from every week. You get to see this progress that you might not notice so much in your regular albums, or at least I don't notice, probably because I don't always scrap new stuff, or I mix my layouts kind of together, and my albums aren't really all that greatly organized. I do put them in generally by year, but the putting together of the album isn't really something that I think too much about most of the time. So when you look through an album that has a lot of Project Life protectors in them, you really see this progress. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So it really made me want to go back go and do it again and retry it, because sometimes you got to do things that you don't really care for because you like the end result. So my thought was, how can I do it? And I tried a couple of spreads last year, and it just didn't stick. And I think it was because I don't know, I just didn't take the time to start a routine and to really just like get an album out. So what I did is I took one of my albums that I actually had regular layouts in, and I just took all my layouts out and said, you know, I'm just going to put Project Life in here for right now. I'd like to mix in some regular albums or layouts in here, but for right now I'm just going to put Project Life in here, and then so maybe this is what I'll just have to do, is just have an album with Project Life in it, and if that's how it works, that's okay. I'm okay with that, with letting my process go however it needs to go to actually get it done, because in the end, it's about having my stories done. So let's hope, let's see if I can get this. I think I'm going to take them out of the album. So I wanted to share with you guys what I have done so far, just so you guys can see what I've been doing, because I actually have been doing stuff. So let's go through my album, and I will apologize right now that you're not seeing the best versions of these, because the other day my dog knocked coffee on my desk, which is why we don't keep coffee on our desks, right? Apparently I can't follow my own rule. So I have coffee on some of my cards, and I just decided I'm just not going to worry about it. It's still documented. I took pictures of some of this stuff already anyway, or semi-pictures, so it'll just have to work. And something sequiny fell off of there. I don't know where it is. Anywho, okay. So here is the 1st of January. I am doing it by month. So basically I am just filling up a pocket with pictures. I'm trying to think about a picture a day or kind of thing, or about 7 pictures per week, but I'm not doing it by week. I'm not labeling it by week. I'm just labeling it the month, and then make sure that I have the year somewhere on here. And so yeah. This, I actually have really good pictures in the SpiegelMom Scraps blog, because I blogged about it, and I made the shaker pocket with some of her sequins. So if you want to look at this really close up, I'll have the link below so that you can see it. But, so this is the beginning of February, and so basically I have cards, or pictures for every day, and I really want to focus on journaling and making sure that I'm telling stories, or that I'm saying the things that are going on, because sometimes those are things that you forget, the little things, the things that your kids are learning, you know, the fact that there was a little bit of snow, and we don't get much snow here, the view of Mount Rainier, which I don't know how I could forget about it, but, you know, things that I don't always take time to take pictures of. So that is what I'm doing. So this is the first, and this is a 9x12, though not all of them are, and I just cut this to make it a 9x12 myself. So yeah. I think this is actually a C. So that one is the one that has two big pieces, so two 4x6s. Actually, no, it has all 4x6s, I think. I think that's what the C has, but I'm not positive about that. And here's one of my things. Is that, this one might actually be from here, though that doesn't look right. That was in somewhere. I don't know where it was. No. Don't you love it when you lose stuff? But anyway, so here's the second side. My husband's birthday was on the 4th, so I did a little filler card. Nice and cute. And here's another filler card and math work that my kids did. And, of course, my dog drinking my coffee. And another filler. This one actually has a lot of filler cards. But I definitely, like I said, made sure that I did lots of journaling and stuff, because that is really what I think this project is going to be about for me, is making sure that I get journaling for what's going on. So page number 2 is this one right here. I really do hope, there you go. Okay, so here's number 2. Like I said, coffee spilt, so there is a little bit of coffee on my white card. It annoys me, but I'm trying not to let it bug me. It was my own stupidity fault for having coffee on my desk, because I know my dog tries to get my attention and see what I'm doing. So I took down the tree, and so I documented that. On the 9th, I was looking through pictures and videos, and I tried to charge up my iPad, or my old iPod. So this is like the second version of an iPod, I think. It wasn't the first one, but it was the next one after that, I think. And so I couldn't even get it. I could charge it, but I couldn't get it to do anything to turn on. It's broken. But I used this card, and I said we go together like phones and chargers, just because I thought it would be kind of fun with this thing. And I actually really like this element, because I don't really have much of like the technology that I use, except for like, oh, my laptop and stuff. So I thought it would be really fun to have something like this in here. And I know I talked about what I did that day, but actually what I really think I want to do is do like another little card that maybe I can flip in here and talk about how I tried to get my iPod to work, and I couldn't get it to work because it's not compatible with the programming anymore, pretty much. But so I made this filler card, and my dog, there's tons of pictures of my dog. Like, I swear I take so many pictures of my dog. You'd think I love her more than my kids. And then I did this filler card. I did use some Citrus Twist. They have like page maps and stuff, kind of like this, where you can see how to do the cards and stuff. So I did a lot of designing of the cards kind of based on some of their own page map type things, like sketches. And then so I have this other one, and I just talk about how big Kona is. I really like having these little stickers. These are from Pink Fresh Studio, and I really like having these on each picture. I wish I had more of them, but I like ran out. So it's not going to follow through, but it does. A lot of January has them on them. So I guess that's really all that matters, right? And then I have a picture of my daughter and stuff. So I just kind of filled them in, you know. I picked out the pictures. So here's the second part of So this goes until the 11th, and then here we have the 12th through the 14th. See, so like some pockets, it's only a few days, you know. I had a lot of pictures from like the 12th, the dog, because she likes to hide underneath there. She doesn't really fit underneath there anymore, but not any, now she doesn't, at least. We were doing game night and trying to have no technology on Thursday nights, so that kind of didn't stay very long. I should journal about how we are not doing that anymore because just things got really busy. My husband's schedule changed so much that it just wasn't working. And there's hot cocoa and soup I made, so I talked a little bit about that. And then the weekend happened, so this is on, I think it's on the weekend. And actually, we did more that weekend because we went to our friend's house. I just chose not to put it in Project Life. So, one thing that I've been doing to keep it really simple is using, like, page maps and stuff like that. But also keeping my cards really, really simple. As you can see, I have, all my journaling cards are pretty much just on white. And then I just add, like, some strips of something and, like, one little thing. I really am trying to keep it simple so that I can get it done, right? Because it's like, if I have it really complicated, and it's not going to get done if I do it crazy, right? So here's the 15th through the 17th. Once again, this is just a few days. It's not really a lot, but I have pictures. And on the Sunday, we rearranged. We brought some stuff. We changed. My husband's desk used to be downstairs, and I put it upstairs, and I was reading a lot that weekend because I had to finish my book that I bought. And then on the 16th, we went to Denny's. We went out to eat. We've kind of been trying to save money, but we decided to go out to eat as like our family thing that we did. And then I went shopping, and I thought it would be fun to just like show kind of some of the stuff that I get and like how when I get it home, I take it all out and stuff. So it was just kind of like, I know I talked a little bit about how I have been trying to budget a little bit better, and by making things and making smart decisions about what we buy and stuff. And then here's Kaden playing with the dog. It's really hard to see the dog, but you see Kaden because that's really what I wanted. On the 15th, so this was this day, but I just put it over here. My husband made soup for me and him for dinner, and we ended up eating super late. I didn't put that on here, though. I should have. I mean, we ate like at 9 o'clock at night. It was really funny because it took so long to make the soup. He didn't realize it was going to take that long. I could have told him that, but that's okay. And then here is just this card talking about this day. And I just, like I said, I kept it really, really simple. But there's still stuff on the page to make it pretty. I just didn't overcomplicate it. Oh, here's the next page. I forgot that I didn't flip it over. Here's the 18th through the 20th. And on the 18th, it was super, super nice, and I had the windows all open, and then in the afternoon, someone hit one of the poles, the transformers, and the power went out. So, I was going to go, and we left, and we were going to go get pizza, but we couldn't even get up the road because they closed the whole road down, out near our house, and so the power went out. Actually, the power went out twice that week. I don't think I documented the second time. I should have, but oh my gosh, that was crazy. 2 times in 1 week, the power went out for like a long period of time. It was like a while. Like it went out like around 3 and it didn't come on until like 10 o'clock. And then we have the 19th, which I show a picture of my son. He has diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and so I have to record all his numbers and how much insulin I give him so that we can kind of keep track of a lot of different things for the doctor. And then here's Sam going through all the movies because he's looking for Scooby-Doo, and he had to take all of them out. And then our dog stole something, and she likes to hide underneath the bed, and so I took a picture of her before, I made her get out of my room. And then here is me sitting on the couch, and the dog is sitting right next to me, which she always does. And so I took a picture of that. I thought it was really cute. It's probably kind of hard to see. But, so there's that. And then this page, we are getting closer to being in February. so this is the last January page, and I talked about the crop and how I made this from the picture, the old picture that I had, and how I was getting ready for the crop. And then I did my nails that day, so I just kind of documented it. And then on the 23rd, our dog decided that she was going to get into our shed outside. I'm not sure how, well, I know how she did it. The kids accidentally didn't close it all the way. They were in there, and they didn't close it all the way, and the dog found something, and she cut her foot really bad. So we had to clean it up and wrap it, and we put a sock on it so she wouldn't eat it or chew on it or lick it, so it could stop bleeding and it could like heal up properly. So that was something that happened that day. That was a big something. And then here I talk about, actually the 27th, I don't know what day the 27th is on, but I don't know if that's the day that crop started. I think it was. Because I actually made this earlier in the week, but I talk about the crop, but I ended up being sick with the flu, so I made it on Friday night a little bit, but I just couldn't stay online very long because I was just feeling so crappy. But I did take the dog out that day, and she was playing with the neighbor dogs. This is something she does all the time when they're out. If I'm out there with her, she'll go right over there. Well, and she goes over there anyway, but there was only a little bit of fence where the dogs can see each other. And so they like to try to bark at each other and stuff, and she likes to try to play with them. It's really cute. She used to be really afraid of them because they used to be really big. And they have a Great Dane mix, and that dog is huge. But here's another picture of me shopping, because I go every 2 weeks or so. Actually, this wasn't quite 2 weeks, I don't think, but I was picking up some stuff. I had to pick up the stuff for the dog, like some more stuff for the dog. I got some just like Ace bandage because we did something else. I think we just started off with paper towel, but then I had to go out and get bandages, so I went out the next day and stuff to just rewrap her foot so it wouldn't get infected or anything. So, and I got some other goodies. And then here's February. Well, January 20, like near the end. And then February started. So I did put February here. And like I said, I just kept it really simple. Just putting a couple of things. Making sure that I'm dating each of the pictures so that I know what day it was. Here's a picture of Kona. This is when I was on sick with the flu. So Kona was laying on the couch with me, and her foot was still bothering her. So she wasn't really moving around a whole lot. A little bit, but not as much as she usually was. And so we were just, I think she knew I wasn't feeling good too. So she was more up to just like chill with me on the couch because I was sick. I was really sick. Ugh. Don't get the flu. Get your flu shot. That was my problem. So yeah, so here's my tag and everything over the picture. This is like one of my favorite pictures. It has the frost on it because it was really cold that day. And then here's another picture from that same day. And then I just put a chipboard piece on it. And it says, yep, this is totally awesome. Because you can see all the ice crystals on top of the leaf. It's one of my favorite pictures. And then on the 31st, I made sure that I put the weather card. I like to use these throughout. As I'm going on, I haven't been taking as many, but I do try to add these because I think it's really cool to kind of see like how the temperature is now, and just kind of like, it'll be cool to see it in a couple of years to see how the temperature changes. And then I just use this card. This is from Allie's Story Kits. It says, always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. And then here I added February on here because I just kind of talk about the end of January into February, since this has January and February on it. So that's it. And like I said, I'm keeping it super simple, just putting a few things on, adding staples, and all that fun stuff. And then, so here is February. So here's February 1st. I have a lot of pictures from the 1st. I will say that's the hardest part, is picking out pictures to make sure that I have enough. But I realize that, like, if I can keep, you know, keep a week to about two protectors, like a front and a back, or, you know, 2 facing protectors, then that's pretty good. So if I have about 7 per week, I'm not doing too bad. So that's kind of just what I'm trying to keep in mind. I mean, it's really hard, but I think that as I'm going on, I'm getting better about picture picking, and if it's a story that's really important, I can always do a layout about it. So that's the thing that I have to remind myself, is that just because I have a picture doesn't mean that I need to put it in here. I can always put it in there. So yeah, so my dog was shedding a lot of hair because it was starting to get a little bit warm. So she's like shedding like crazy, and it's getting all over me, and it's gross. And so I documented that. My daughter and the cat, because she loves the cat, so I talk a lot about that. And then I use this card. These are from Citrus Twist Kit. So I got some of their old kits just to kind of get an idea about how their Project Life kits are and stuff. Well, I got some other stuff from them too, but I really love their cards, and I really love how their kits like kind of go, and they really lend well to making a very cohesive spread. You'll see as I go through that the spread, it just really makes the spreads look really nice. So, and then they have like these journaling prompt cards, and there's 3 boxes, so I can talk about each of these 3 things and just use 1 card. So I could get more pictures in. Yeah, so I have the filler card here so that I don't have so many pictures that I can't. I kind of like the idea of having some filler cards and using some of my product up. I also like the idea of having, you know, making sure that I have enough journaling though. So this one I stamped on because you get a stamp in the kits. And then I added these little pieces. And I'm trying, like I said, to add the date, or like a date, something, to a label or something to put on each picture so that I have, you know, the date on each one. So this one, I was working on Project Life. I've been doing it on Friday nights because I scrap chat with Megan usually, or we try to chat on Megan, or we try to talk and chat on Fridays. So I usually will do like something like Project Life because I'm not taping it, so I don't have to worry about how long it's taking me, and I can just, you know, do the cards and stuff. And then I've been working on eating better and kind of moving around a little bit more. And so I have a picture of my lunch. Plus, I like food pictures anyway. I mean, it just kind of is fun to see what you're eating and what kind of stuff that you eat on a regular basis. That's the dog. And then here we go. We have some more. Here's a picture of my dog. This one turned out so nice, and I love it with this little cut apart from the Citrus Twist. And then on the 5th, we had a snow day. Like, it snowed all day. So these 2 pictures are from the 5th. And this one's from the 5th. And as you notice, I didn't make sure that they're all like one right after each other. As long as they're on the page and they're around the same time, that's really all that matters to me. And I try to balance it and get a nice like feel for it. I found that I really like the style of the A protectors, so I will probably use those most of the time, though I did get G's, which I'll show you when I get to that area. But anyway, so here's a picture of my son in the snow with the dog. I really love this picture. I loved this card with the XOs, and so what I did was I took a SpiegelMom scraps. She has felt snowflakes, and I took one of the snowflakes from a cut file that we had from SpiegelMom scraps, and then I just added some of the sequins around it, and I absolutely love this card. It's like one of my favorites. And then I have that, and here's some food. I talked about how I made something really, really yummy and warm because it was so cold. I mean, it was so cold with all the snow. Oh my gosh. And it snowed. We got a good amount of snow. We got like a foot of snow. So, at our house, which is not common for Washington State. So, or on the west, on the coast, I should say. So, the west side of Washington. The east side, it's more common. But this was at bedtime. And this is a black and white photo. And so, this one was from Instagram. So I just kind of talked about all that stuff. Okay, I'm getting closer, guys. I don't know how long I've been doing this. 25 minutes. I need to finish. Okay, so here is the February 6th. This is also the 6th I showed my son doing some of his stuff. So one thing that I also noticed now that I'm doing it more consistently is making sure that I have enough photos of each of my kids and telling the right kind of stories. The stories that are stuff that actually is going on, not just... But I've found that it's just been really difficult because a lot of times, like, either we're doing school most of the time and there's only so many school pictures I want to show. There's only so many pictures of each little thing that I want to show. So kind of having this right balance of sharing that stuff but not oversharing that stuff. And I noticed just a lot of stuff tends to be the dog, the me, and so, you know, and their relation to what I'm doing, so in some ways. So here's another picture of the snow because it was started to melt, and I used the card Mood Swings, and I really like this. It says, just a few days ago we had a foot of snow. Now it's raining again. It's crazy weather. So I have journaling, but I kept it kind of simple, you know, just telling what it is. This fun little card. Me, I was taking tons. So I had to have my picture for the click hits, and so I had to change my picture because the picture that I gave them it wasn't working right. And it's been a while since I updated my profile pictures. So I was taking a ton of pictures, and I was just like getting really crazy because, you know, I mean, there's only so many selfies you can take of yourself at one time. And so I took this picture and I thought that was funny. So I showed it. My dog stealing food, which is something she always does. So I wanted to make sure I documented that. My son just being goofy, and he has Kool-Aid all over his hands. And then here's the next day. So here's the 9th. And then on the 10th, we had no snow whatsoever. So in the 24 hours that it rained, all the snow was completely gone. All gone. So, and then I have a picture from the 10th. It's a really crappy picture, but I really love it because it shows my dog near the laundry, and this is something, you know, I do the laundry all the time, but how she just, like, she wants to help me. And so, okay, so then I added this, and I did most of this for journaling, and then I just added some pieces that were from the kit. From Citrus Twist, they had the new Maggie Holmes Chasing Dreams collection and part of their kit, and so I just really kind of like how tropical or naturey it is, and how I have a lot of nature pictures, so that it really worked well. And then I had this, and this is talking about me filming, because I filmed this for the Crafty Maven. I forgot about that I did that on the Crafty Maven, so I'll make sure I have that link in there too. And then I just added the chipboard, and then I added some journaling here, and then I have this really nice picture. I try not to add too much to it because I really wanted you to be able to see it. But I did do some white with my date stamp. So there's that part of the week. And then here is the 11th of February. It was my daughter's birthday, and so I got a picture of her cupcakes. And then I used this. It says, life is sweet. Have a treat. So, and then I talked a little bit about Kaden and her birthday. And this is what I put on Instagram or Facebook or something. I just kind of pretty much copied what I had because I really liked what I wrote. And so, you know, trying to add stuff that I've already said so I don't have to think a lot ahead, you know, about extra journaling and stuff, so I put that there. Then Kaden made this, so there's tons of stuff there. So, and I just journaled right on the photo for this one. I know it's kind of on her, but you can still see the picture, so I like that. And then this one says first, second, third, and I just did my journaling for some of the pictures in here, and I just talked about some stuff that went on that day, because the 12th was, my husband worked all day, so it was just me and the kids, and we did stuff around the house. We were watching YouTube, and then Sam was helping me with the dishes. So I just kind of kept it really simple, and I really like these cards that have the journaling prompts in them. So that all you got to do is just fill it out, and then you have that spot, and you can get tons of journaling in there, and it tells you about the week and everything. And then, so here's the 13th. I have another food picture, and I really love this one. I love how this turned out. So I just added one of these pieces from the kit, the cork, and then as you can see, this is got coffee on it too. But here's another food picture of me making dinner, so I had to put that one in because I really liked that picture. And then this one has a text thing, because my husband sent me a text. We don't text very often, but I thought it would be kind of fun to share the text, because it was just really funny, because this was Valentine's Day, which was the 14th. And my husband, he was asking what was for dinner, and that day I was like, yeah, we're just going to have leftovers, because we had a lot of stuff that we needed to eat. And he's like, very romantic. And I'm like, I know, right? And then I say, well, I am making a pot of coffee and brownies. So, like, and then it shows a little bit of the next day, which says what we had for dinner. So I thought it would be kind of nice to share this, because we don't text very often, but I just thought it was just a cheeky text, so I had to put that in there. And then this card is actually from one of the SpiegelMom Scraps girls. Designed some cards for herself, and she was like, hey, if you guys want to use these, here's some cards. So I'll make sure that I link her stuff, her Instagram or whatever, to down here and stuff, so you can see how she uses her cards. But I thought it would be fun. Now this has 3 arrows, but I just put this piece here. I thought it kind of matched with this, and then I used that color ink. And so I just thought it kind of brings some of the other elements. And I don't mind that it covers up one of the things. And then here I add the cork here, and this is for this. And then here's a picture of us doing school. So I am making sure that I'm adding school pictures. I am making sure that I'm adding pictures of the kids. So I'm like, as this month goes on, I'm kind of realizing pictures that I need to take, pictures that I've, things that I want to share about our lives. And so this was the 13th, and this was the day after Ben did his CQ. He came home, and usually he's really tired because he has duty, which pretty much means he has duty overnight. So he doesn't get much sleep, because they don't really get much sleep when they do overnight duties. And so he was laying on the couch with the dog, and I took a picture of that. I thought it would be nice to get some pictures of my husband, because in a lot of ways it kind of is almost like my husband is not in the albums. So the next part that I did, and I'm not done with this because I just started it, but I also got these Protector G, Design G, and these are not quite 9 by 12, so they're a little bit smaller, or they might be around 9 inches. And it has 2 3x4s that are standing up, but it also has like the up and down pictures, and then so the vertical and the horizontal, which I really like. So this is what I have so far, and I'm going to be adding these throughout, just because sometimes I have spreads that I can do that with, and I thought it would just be kind of fun to like mix up some of my pages and stuff too. So I'm using it for this one, and then here I just documented a little bit about something that was going on in the news, which I don't tend to do, but it's something that I want to do, so I made sure I did it for that day, because that was the immigrants' day, where the day without immigrants, where they were protesting and not going to work. So I wanted to make sure I put that in there, and I'm kind of trying not, So, and this is why I don't do a lot of political stuff or a lot of like news stuff, because sometimes I don't want my thoughts to, like, I want my thoughts to be in there, but I don't want them to influence my family's thoughts. And so I have a hard time because, you know, and like in my house, we don't really talk that much about politics and news because my husband hears a lot of it all the time. And so sometimes when he comes home, he just wants a place that he doesn't have to think about and discuss or, you know, debate anything. So, which is fine, but I do want to make sure that I'm sharing some stuff that's relevant, because I think that for me, that's kind of stuff that I would want to see. I would want to see what's going on and what are my family, how is that kind of stuff affecting them. So that's why I added it in, because I really want to start to do that kind of thing in my albums. But anyway, so here's a picture of the dog and another food picture. And so that is all I have so far. I make sure that I label, though I'm not a big fan of labeling it like right like this, because if you have it in light, you can see the picture, the date. A lot of times I try to do it like on the part that you can't see. But anyway, so this is my album so far. I hope you guys liked it. I just shared it for 35 minutes, but there was quite a bit of it. So I'm halfway through February. And I have some more stuff printed off and stuff. So if you guys want to see me do my process and you want me to share the process video of me doing Project Life, let me know. Because I'm more than willing to do it if you guys are interested in seeing the process. If you don't really care and you don't mind me just sometimes going and sharing a 30-minute video of what I have done so far, I can do that too. So it doesn't really matter to me either way, but I just thought I'd put it out there that if you guys are interested, I am willing to maybe start to try to do the process. I know I just wanted to, especially at this beginning part, to like kind of get into the hang of doing things a different way, because when you do a process video, I feel like when you go into it, the thought process is a little bit different than when you just sit down on your own and do it here and there, which is kind of sometimes how I do it. But anyway, so that's what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you guys like seeing and looking through my album and seeing kind of what we did throughout the month this new year. And I will be back sharing some more stuff later on. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.